That is right. If you saw the title of the video, you'll know that I am attempting to become a pro player at pinball. I'm going to try to do it within a certain time frame. Not sure what that time frame is yet, but as of late, I've had some really good placements in bigger tournaments, some tourneys that I've traveled a little bit for. So I think it's becoming more realistic in my mind. Top 250 is a very difficult level to achieve. As I've gotten higher and higher in the rankings, it takes more and more points to keep that number going down. I'm at 1100 right now, just about. But I think that it's possible, and I wanted to showcase my journey, to showcase how realistic it is for someone, just the average player, to eventually become a pro player in IFPA rankings. I think it would be cool to showcase the journey upwards. I don't even know if I'm going to make it there yet, but I would love you guys to join me on this. And I think that we just assume that certain players are just like the best players, and other players are players that are good but might not make it there. I have this running theory in my head that anyone can achieve at least the top 250. Now, top 10, we're getting a little crazy there. I think that, we have this big movement of young players that have grown up playing the game. If you didn't have that advantage, maybe you're at a little bit of a disadvantage versus these young players, so maybe top 10's not in my future. But top 250, I do truly believe that anyone with enough, if they press on enough, they'll be able to get there. And I guess this is me trying to prove that to some degree, that any player can do that if they, travel a little bit, they work hard enough. I'm lucky enough to be working in a situation. I do audio engineering and music production for a living, so I'm lucky enough to be able to make my own schedule. And if there's a tournament a couple states away, I can just pop out, go there for the weekend, come back. I understand that this is a big advantage, so I don't want to waste this. I definitely want to use this time to pursue things that I care about, and right now pinball is something I care about. And I think if you asked me that a couple months back, I probably wouldn't have said that as wholeheartedly, because I would think it's just like, just a silly hobby. But hobbies are important, right? And I'm a competitive person. I like competition in my hobbies. I think that's what attracts me to pinball so much. It's a great community. There's a lot of competition, and you feel the growth. Maybe I haven't hit my wall yet. Maybe that's why I'm so excited about this. But nevertheless, I've been playing for about a year through IFPA tournaments. I've dabbled in pinball a little bit before that casually, but I definitely didn't learn techniques or anything like that. So all of this growth has been within a year. Started playing my first tournaments in New York. Still in New York now. I am now I'll have it on the screen, it's 1100 right now. I was 1300 just a week ago, but I just came back from Delaware Pinball Collective, played a really good tournament there against some really good players, landed 7th in A finals, and I actually have some footage here. So the main meat of this video is going to be going through some of the videos. I'm going to be critiquing some of the ways that I played, maybe a look at some ways I could improve, point out some reasons as to why I did certain things, look at stylistic choices that I made. And it can be a learning experience for you and for me. I think that's going to be really exciting. Don't know what this series is going to look like going forward, but this is just what the first episode is going to look like. And yeah, I think we should get into it, and thank you so much for joining me. The first game I wanted to take a look at was my first game that was called on camera. This is the first round of the finals, going against Rodney, Justin, and Pete here. And this is on 007, the 60th edition. I'm just going to pick a ball from each game that I think is maybe one of the more informative ones, so I can talk a little bit more about it. Let's hit play here. I'm going to have it muted, unfortunately. I just want to make sure there's no copyright issues or anything, but I just want to say that Bob and Levy did a fantastic job commentating over this. You should definitely check it out on Twitch, the Delaware Pinball Collective's Twitch, if you can find it, if you're interested. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at this ball. I'm going into it. Ball 1, I had 3,300. That puts me ahead of some of the other players. So now my thinking here is I just want to rack up points as quickly as possible. I want to defend that first place. So my goal here, I don't know a whole lot about this game. What I do know is that if you hit the M16 targets in the back, you start a mission, and if you hit that lock, you start your multi-ball mission, which can be a lot of points. I know a lot of people will rush this multi-ball. For me, I don't go for any more than one in this game. I actually don't think that the multi-ball tends to have a lot of points reliably, so I don't go for it unless it's there. Luckily, I had the drop targets already down, so quick little easy backhand from the right flipper. Let's see right here. So right now, I'm just trying to lock both balls. I went into this tournament thinking that I was a control player. I am not a control player after watching this tournament footage. I play very on the fly. I don't know if this is different than I would normally play, but it was working for me. You can see I got both blocks there, so that's gonna be an add-a-ball right there, and now we're into the second part of the mission, which is you wanna lock the balls again to light the jackpot. I got Super Disc going, so hitting the hat is always good. Drain out on the right side there. It's okay. Again, all I'm trying to do here is get as many points in this as possible, which, you know, maybe I should have played a little bit more controlled. That is not necessarily my style now looking back at this tournament footage, but you can see I cradle here on the right side to get that. Get a double cradle. Smack that away. Try to get that lock. Doesn't land in. Try to catch there. Don't get it. And, you know, after watching a lot of this, I will say that I do need to mix more control into my play. I'm just kind of flipping it up in a way. It does play a little bit like a classic, so you can't necessarily have a ton of control on this game, but like I'm just slinging into bumpers and it's not a good move. So if I want to be the best of the best, I can't be doing that in every game. You know, I got a little bit lucky, I think, with not draining out. M16 targets here is the mission, so again, I'm just hitting behind the hat, which is a very scary shot, but something that I'm trying to do more is, there are games that infamously have scary shots. I was trying not to be afraid to take the shots that I need to going into this tournament, because I think half this game is mental for me. If I go into something hesitant, I'm not going to make it. So if the game's asking me to do something and it's not an insta-drain, I'm going for it. I can always dig myself out of bad situations. You can see I hit the eye there, and I was really disappointed it didn't go down. It bricked a few times for a few people, but that's pinball, right? When the ball comes down from that upper spinner, that is a safe shot, so I always tried to do a little bit of a drop catch on those. Maybe not drop catch, but just like, you know, I wanted to slow the ball a little bit down before I hit it away. You can see I bricked again on that 6, but still keeping the ball in play here. Every time it hits the slings, because I know how dangerous those slings can be, I was giving a little bit of a push down on the machine, just to give some randomness, because the slings like to feed to the out lane. Oh, I did a little bit of a right nudge there, banked it off that weird feed back into the plunger lane. That was a little crazy. I think when I'm just in situations where I'm just popping it back up and not really like letting it dead bounce or anything like that, that's a little silly. I do think that I was afraid of dead bounces in this tournament. This locale for me, infamously, has a lot of machines that are a little bit floatier than I'm used to. So, you know, cradling, it tends to be harder. But, you know, I've been playing this game for quite a bit now. I'm up to 7,500. I think that if, you know, I can get there without really knowing what I'm doing, I'm just staying alive. I'm hitting whatever the game is asking me to. I'm not doing any of this deeper theory. Got a danger there, but that's okay. You're gonna get a danger on this game. Really lucky in-lane feed there. The spinners are lit right now, so ooh, nice little. Sorry, I'm impressed with myself with that one. That was a nice little save. Trying to get better at the double taps. Yeah, very lucky that didn't outlane as well. You can see that I'm getting a little finicky with my touches there. That was stupid. Shouldn't have done that. I think it's okay that I play fast, but I'd rather I play fast and then be able to slow down in an efficient manner. Feed right down the middle. I got a lot done with that ball, so I can't be too mad about it. I think that's gonna roll me right there in bonus. Yeah, so I got the 10,000 and can't be mad about that. Big learning points for that is that it's okay to play a game that when you walk up to a game and you don't know a lot about it, doesn't really matter as long as you're able to stay alive and do what the game asks you to. Things I could work on, definitely learning how to slow down when it's necessary. I might be an on-the-fly player, but you know, if you're just like shoving the ball back up with no target, that's no good. You're not going to get any points from that. So let's go into our next game here. The next game we're going to take a look at here is the Metallica game. It says game 1 of 3 at the top left. They just didn't change it. This is actually game 3 of 3 in the first round of finals. I made a mistake immediately going into this game, and I want to just address it and apologize for it right now. I had 8 points going into this. It was a 4-2-1-0, so I had won my last 2 games, so I was definitely through no matter how I played this game. I was just very focused on playing as well as possible and taking every advantage I could get. So I had first choice. I chose to go last. I probably shouldn't have done that, thinking about it, because there were other players that were fighting for that second place overall in the round. And me going last, it's not good for the stream because, you know, my score doesn't matter, and if I perform well, I would knock somebody else out potentially, and that's just not fun for any of the people that are playing there because, you know, I feel like I'd want, if I was in that situation where I was in second, third, or fourth and I had a chance to get in, I would want to put the opportunity to get through on myself. Obviously, I'm going to play my best here because it's not fair to the players if I don't. But it just feels bad if I do really well and it knocks someone out that could have gotten through, which is exactly what happened here. And I want to, it was specifically Justin Bath here. I want to apologize to Justin. I just wasn't thinking when I was picking order. Definitely shouldn't have picked fourth place. I think it's, you know, bad for the game. And hopefully that, you know, hopefully that wasn't sensed as an attack or anything. I just, you know, I was just trying to play my best, try to keep momentum going, and I just picked fourth without thinking. Alright, so let's get into it. This is ball 3 of Metallica on my final game of the first round. Again, my score going into this doesn't really matter because I already had 8 points, but I'm going to play as good as possible because it's only fair to the rest of the players, and I wanted to do well for myself as well. So going into this, I always go for the full plunge skill shot. Just because you'll just end up hitting it most of the time if you hit snake or ball or any of that. It ups the points for the next time you do it too. Every time it's coming out of the right orbit, I always give it a little right slap. I've tried to do that more on different games because it almost always is a weird feed into the top of the slings. So now I crank it up lit. I didn't realize it yet. I'm just backhanding for the cross. I look up, I finally realize it, and now I'm going for that scoop. Now that scoop is so hard to hit on this one. You'll see I miss it a few times here, and I'm just I'm going. In particular, I actually intended to play this way more on the fly than the other games, just because in qualifying, I could not find the control on this. If you held a flipper up, it's rolling right past the tip. So I was always trying to find the shots. I got it into the scoop here. Pick fade to black because this is a premium and I want to rip those spinners. I believe that's the right mode for this. Not a game that I'm 100% on, but I do believe that's the right play there. Rip a spinner. That puts me over the top. The ball's coming down. We're just hitting it around. Drain out on the side. Yeah, so overall not a very effective game, but when you need those extra points, sometimes you just need to take a second and really find your shots. For me, that's why I wanted to showcase this. I needed a little, I think he was at 36 and I was at 32 going into that. So in Metallica, it can be hard to fish for points. Maybe it would have been smarter to just go for the cross multi-ball because the scoop was so hard to hit. That's something I need to think about is, okay, I don't need to run the machine. I just need to get a lot of points quickly. So I was one drop away from getting that cross multi-ball. Maybe I should have gone for that. I don't know. Something to think about. But I think this game taught me that on the fly is okay sometimes, especially if the game allows for it, because I was definitely not getting any control on these balls when I was just trying to, like, you know, if it was coming from the in lane, I would try to do the thing where you hit it really quickly on the back and it hits off the post. It would just bounce around too much. So for me, you got to change play styles depending on the game, and I think that's the main pull away from here. And that left me at 12 points leaving the first round, and now we're going to go into the second round here. We are now at the third game. Again, it says game 1 of 3 at the top left. You can ignore that. This is the third game of the quarterfinals. This is another situation where I was going into this last round with 8 points. This time I did the right thing, chose to go first so other people could compete with my score. And this round I was playing against, the names are wrong on the left side there because we weren't showcased on this round. I think it changes in the middle of this round, but I was playing, if I remember correctly, I was playing Steve Zoller, I was playing Coy Morris and Bob Chote, I believe. I don't know if I said his last name correctly, so I apologize if not. But we're playing pro football. This is infamously a game that I cannot stand. I think it's a fun game to play casually, but in competition it's just like a grab bag. Anything could happen. Again, doesn't really matter what my score is going into this, but I'm going to play as strong as possible. My strategy, I'm going to hit play here. My strategy in this game is to rip that middle spinner as much as possible. Some people like to go for the very targets at the bottom, because that can be an easy 5,000 if you just hit it hard enough and you just keep bouncing back and forth. But I think in a classic, I'm always going for upper playfield. This game really comes down to however the game decides to feed you the ball. There's a lot of digs that are going to happen in this game. This is not my best game of pro football I played in this tournament, but it's the one that got caught on camera. I'm doing like pseudo live catches. I'm not actually like, or not live catch, drop catches. I'm not actually catching it, but I'm just like preparing myself mentally by doing that. You can see that in pro football. Sometimes the ball bounces around. Nothing you can do. I don't want to tilt the game because this is a tilt ends game. Oh, see the feeds there? It's crazy. Like right off the pop bumper. Almost straight down the middle. Had to really dig for that. You know, these outlanes are hungry too. Now this is a game that I probably should have slowed down a lot more on. You can see there, I'm losing it. I could have saved that if I hit it a little bit harder, but again, I was so afraid of a tilt, didn't want to go for it. 39 going into the fourth ball is not a situation you want to be in. Preferably, you'd like to roll this game. I don't think I've had a good spin on that spinner a single time this game. Funnily enough, when it's bouncing around on those upper slings, like the ones to the left and right below the spinner, that's actually a good thing in my mind, because it means that you're not going to immediately drain. I feel like you can read those bounces a little bit better. Get a little tip there. Tiny little spinner rip. That moves the ball forward in the game, so that, and once it gets all the way to the end zone, you get a bunch of points. So that's why I'm ripping that. But like with these double flipper games, I'm really bad at reading how the ball is going to bounce off of them. I think I need to get better at playing non-traditional games and the reads that you can get off that. Like right there, that's unforgivable for me. Like I need to be able to, you know, it's a classic. I should be reacting to that a little bit faster. And I just, this was not a good game for me. You can see that my reaction times were a little bit slower than usual. Maybe I was trying to play a little bit too controlled, actually, towards the end. I think going in, I was like, okay, I'm playing too fast, so let the ball do what it's got to do. But that doesn't always work in your favor, right? Like, especially on the classic. Like, the ball wants to go to the out lane, the ball wants to drain on the 5-ball, and I just watched it happen. Again, doesn't matter what my score was really on this, but it just felt like I could have done a lot better. Every time I sent it up, it was always hitting those posts next to the spinners, which is probably the worst thing you can do. I got it to the top maybe like once. I just couldn't find, I wasn't really even trying to triangulate where on the flippers I should be flipping it to hit that spinner. I was just sending it up. And I think that's a big mistake on my end. If you have 5 balls, you get a couple balls to really find your shots, and I just didn't do that. I was just sending it. So I think I need to take more time with myself to engage my brain a little bit more. Not just play pinball, but play angles, figure out where I want to hit the ball so that going into ball 3, 4, 5, I can have big balls. Well, whatever. I won't address that. And maybe I should have switched it up to the very targets, because obviously I wasn't having much success with the top. Maybe the very targets would have pulled me a few more points, you know? Wouldn't have stayed alive much longer, but you know, that points are points. If one strategy is not working for you, you got to be willing to switch it up. But yeah, so I end that, I believe, at 10 points. I went into, I'm going to switch cameras here if I can. I don't know. Yeah, that's the right one. So going into the round after this, the third round of the finals, I was playing a lot of incredibly good players. It was me and Bob that got through that round. And then we played games on Deadpool, which I got second on, another Pro Football, which I got third on, again, probably because I didn't triangulate the shots when I was supposed to. And then last round we played Joker Poker, and I hate that game. Cannot play it like some other people do. I couldn't even get a touch on the flippers. Again, I wish it was on camera because I could probably pick out all the things I was doing wrong. In the game, it felt like I was just not getting any contact, but you can always do something, right? Like little nudges at the top, so it's definitely on me. But first ball, I had a great ball in Joker Poker. The rest, absolutely nothing. So I got a last on that, and unfortunately was not able to make it to the final round, but still made it to 7th overall. That is way better than I thought I was going to do in that tournament, and I really hope that things continue in this trend. I feel like I was on a little bit of a hot streak this tournament, but maybe there's a way for me to tap into that going into the future. I was definitely confident going into those games, and I think that for me, it's half in your head, right? When you walk up to a game, if you think that you're going to do well, you will do well. And I wasn't thinking that I was going to beat these people because I was playing Steve Zoller. Like what, one of the best players in the world. I didn't think I was going to have a shot, but I kept telling myself, like, just play your best games. And I played some of the best games I've ever played. There was an Addams Family that wasn't on camera that I put up the best score I've ever put up on Addams Family. I got all the way through the mansion. I almost toured it twice. Yeah, when you put up a score like that, it's definitely feels insurmountable if you're someone playing that. And I think that I posted another video earlier about player choice or player order and what you should choose. First round, I always picked to go first because I was on a hot streak. I didn't want to ruin it. And it worked really well for me. I definitely maybe put some fear in some people that didn't know how I played or anything like that. And they were surprised when my first ball was really good. So I think I had some mental strategy here. I think I had just good performance overall. Definitely not disappointed with where I am. Tournaments that I got coming up. I am this weekend going to Albany, upstate for me, to play in the Stomp tournament, which is a big one for our state. If I place really well there, I might even break top 1,000. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how many points that's going to work out to, but it's just a day tournament. I'm currently 14th in New York. I would like to move up, but I think at 14th, you're pretty steadily in there for the end of the year, so I'm not worried about not making it to states. But I just want to keep pushing myself, keep seeing where I can get. Tournaments I got coming up for next year. I mean, there's definitely a few that I have in my calendar to sign up for. Travel a little bit more, maybe get to District 82, I think it is, for one of their bigger ones. Is that the number? I don't remember. Go a little bit more west, see what they got out there, maybe south for a tournament. I would love to go to Papa next year if they're having it. I didn't sign up in time this year, but looked like a really good time. And they're definitely going to have a lot of the kinks worked out by next year. If you ever see me at a big tournament, I'm pretty like headphones in, quiet when I'm at tournaments. I don't show that on camera very much, but I do tend to be a little bit quieter at tournaments. But don't take that as me being unfriendly. I'm focused, but I will absolutely talk to anyone that wants to talk. I love the community. I love interacting with people. So if we see each other out there and you're like, hey, I know you, let's have a conversation. I'd love to meet some of you out there. But this is going to do it for the first episode of my journey to pro. On our way. And who knows how long this is going to take. Maybe I won't get there. Maybe I'll start realizing that that's a little bit harder than I thought it would be, and I'll start faltering. But I got momentum right now. I have the energy. I have people around me supporting me in this endeavor, especially the local players, and I can do it. I know I can do it, and I need to keep this mindset if I'm going to. But thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next episode. This is going to be a sporadic series, so next episode next YouTube video probably won't be this series. Just pop up whenever I have more footage. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.